everybody, and welcome to the Bear Necessities. I'm Bear, and today we are making orange sugar cookies. It's not orange color, it's orange flavor. They are yum, and they are perfect for right now. We are here at the end of fourth summer in Texas. It's nearly November, so it's still almost 100 degrees outside because Texas. And I wanted to make something kind of summery that was still a nice, lovely treat. These are not roll out and cut out cookies. These are kind of like regular, just come out to circular cookies, but they're soft and chewy and really fragrant and sweet, just like a good cookie should be. To get started, preheat your hot box to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Start that now because these move fast. I've already got mine preheated to 375. And once you have that, gather your ingredients. You will need 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 1/2 cups of granulated sugar, 1 cup of butter or whatever fat that you choose, then 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, whatever kind of vanilla you prefer to use. And then in here I have 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. That's all the ingredients you need for these. Now, I said that these were orange sugar cookies. The recipe I just gave you is for a standard drop sugar cookie. Last night we were making orange fried tofu because yum. And I zested some of the oranges and took out some of the extra zest, and I popped it into the sugar that I knew I was going to need today. So I got my 1.5 cups of sugar, and I tossed in the orange zest, put it in a container, and just left it out to sit. The sugar absorbs so much of the oil from the orange zest that it takes on this really glorious color. And it's got the little flakes of the zest in it, and it just smells like an orange grove in here. Last night when I was zesting them, everybody walked in from outside and they're like, whoa, orange! And that's what this is. It's a really potent yet gentle orange flavor and scent. And that's what it will give us, is just a nice, lovely, light orange flavor without being too much. You can do this with any citrus. Lime sugar is really good, lemon, things like that. And if you don't have a zester, if you do have a vegetable peeler, you can peel the rind off of the orange. Make sure to get as little of the white, that's the pith, that's very bitter. Get as little of that as possible. Just take a knife and chop it up really, really tiny, and then mix it in. You can also take your sugar and pop in an old vanilla bean if you randomly have one. I know they're not cheap and they're not common, but if you have one, vanilla sugar is really amazing too. And that can just stay in there for pretty much forever. So let's get started. Into a bowl, I'm going to go ahead and take my 1 cup of soft butter. And this has been sitting out for quite a while now, so it is very much room temperature soft. Like I can just stir it and it's creaming up very quickly. And I'm going to mix in just a little bit of our sugar to kind of start getting everything creamed together. Oh, wow. Just get hit in the face with orange. These are going to be good. All right, add the rest of our sugar. Put that off to the side. I'm going to mix in our vanilla. All right, and now that we have those creamed together, I'm going to switch over to my wooden spoon, as I should have anyway. You know, chef's treat. Wow. I'm a huge citrus fan on top of everything else that I absolutely love. I love citrus fruits, especially grapefruit. Oh man. And living in Texas, ruby red grapefruit, it's the best. Here's a quick secret too. If you think that grapefruit is too bitter, sprinkle a little salt on it. Salt shorts out our tongues, and it makes it to where we don't sense as much of the bitterness, and so we actually get more of the sweetness from the grapefruit. Helpful hint for things that are bitter. It's just a little bit of salt, not sugar. All right, now I'm going to add in our egg, and I'm just going to crack it into a bowl to check it and make sure I get no shell in. Off to the side. And what this is called is the creaming method. If you ever see a recipe call for the creaming method, this is what it is you're creaming together all of your liquid ingredients until they are uniform. And sugar is considered a liquid ingredient because it is hydrophilic, so it absorbs liquid and it goes kind of liquid. That's why it melts so easily. Okay, and I've got that, and it's a nice buttery yellow, soft, just so deeply scented mix. Now I'm going to add my baking soda, baking powder, and salt into the flour. And if you're not afraid of getting your hands a little bit floury, just mix in the other ingredients. And we're going to start with about a third of this. And we want to get this mixed in without wearing most of our cookies. And you don't have to mix it in perfectly, because then we risk overdoing it, and then they'll just be tough. If you ever overmix something like cookies or a cake or bread, and it's kind of getting gummy and tough, take it, wrap it up in something, plastic wrap, or just leave it in the bowl or whatever you're using and cover it. Put it in the fridge for about half an hour. That helps the gluten to relax and soften again, and then you can work with it from there. So you're letting the gluten break itself back down ever so slightly after getting so worked up. All right, and the other part of our flour and leavening mix. Okay, and there is our cookie. If you're finding that your dough is just a little too stiff, mine is pretty much perfect for what I want. If you're finding it's too stiff, add just half a teaspoon of water, maybe up to a teaspoon. Stir it in, see how it's reacting. Don't add too much. Oh yeah, these are going to be amazing. Don't add too much too quickly, at risk of overdoing it. That's a way you can handle the too tight dough. Let's get a little loud for a second. Since this is a slotted spoon, some of the dough stuck inside the slots. And we're ready to portion out our cookies and bake. Now remember, your oven should be at 375 degrees, and if not, get it there now. These cookies do not have to rest in the fridge because, again, we're not doing cutout sugar cookies. If we were doing cutouts, this recipe would be a little bit different. It'd be a heck of a lot stiffer, closer to a shortbread than what it is. And we would have to let it relax and set up in the fridge so that the butter inside could re-solidify before we slice it or roll it out and cut it or whatever we're going to do. And that just helps you have really successful cookies that way. We will be making cutout sugar cookies. Don't worry, that is on the list of things for me to do at some point. I believe that's in a little while though, probably a few months. I'm just going to put about 6 on each tray for now because they spread ever so slightly and I want good clean edges. I don't want them touching. I don't mind cookies that are touching, it's just I'm being particular today. And I know you're thinking, Bear particular? Never. Well, here we are. All right, now just to make sure they're nicely spaced and give them a head start by pushing them down about halfway. All right, I'm going to pop these into my oven. If you're only doing a single tray, and they need to go about 8 to 10 minutes, I'm going to put these in for 4 minutes, and then I'm going to switch racks and turn the pans around like I do with my oven. And I'm going to let them bake for another 4 to 5 minutes, depending on what I need them to be. They'll have a golden edge, like a little bit darker edge, and then a soft center, but not liquid looking. It should be set. That way when you take them out and they cool, they set completely and it's that chewy center that you want. And I'm going to get these baked off. I'll get these scooped up and baked off as well, and I'll see you right back. Okay, we are back, or at least I am. And these cookies have finished baking. They are so crazy good smelling right now. Like my whole house smells like an orange grove fell apart in a bakery. And it's amazing. I'm not gonna lie, I already tasted one of the plain ones. And when I was getting ready to bake the second batch, I went ahead and mixed in a couple of chocolate chips because chocolate and orange kind of work together pretty well too. And they came out golden and soft. This one broke in half, but absolutely simple and delicious. That sweetness, that little bit of vanilla, the little extra bit of salt, the orange, the zest, everything kind of builds up to this really good whole flavor that isn't overwhelming. It all marries really well, and it came out into a pretty darn good cookie. The edges are nice and crisp, and the center is nice and soft and chewy, and a little fluffy. It's kind of the best little cookie. I hope you enjoy making these as much as I do. Remember, you don't have to put the orange in there. It's completely optional. It just gives it a nice extra flavor. But these are a good classic sugar cookie, even as is. So keep this one in your back pocket for one of those, I need something quick, because these baked in about 10 minutes tops. They're fast, and they're pretty rewarding for something so small and so simple. And until I see y'all again, bye.